Welcome back to a bit gamey, and I think this is the MAKT 5. I wasn't going to do another one of these because it's really just for it was originally just for this one piece of picket fence, which was shorter than the bases I had to use, but I thought I'd get some smaller stuff to do that. So that was only going to be that. But I also noticed, looking at my when I was looking at the pictures of Poland, they had these rail fences. Rail fences that are a bit like that, more or less. So I decided I'd try and make some more of that. I'd make some of those. So I got a packet of these small bases, and I bought ages ago a load of these. Which are cocktail sticks, not cocktail sticks. What's called I forget what you call them now. Chinese cooking bamboo. What you call them? For eating food with. So I had them for ages, and then no idea what to use them for. And the idea is to make a version of those. So that's the base model, but small base with cut those up with glue them to the base, glue the bits of bamboo what's it together, and that's going to be well, can't really see it, but it's basically going to be like that, two rails with whatever that. So that's the plan too, is to use some of these smaller bases for that, to do rail fencing. So that's them. And the other thing was, when I was laying out my terrain for the recon thing, you have a situation where you have your road and you want it to go off at an angle. Then you get this kind of big gap in the middle. So I was going to do another, because this could be hedges or whatever. So I was going to do another short one to fill in the gap. Don't know if you can see that. I'm not sure it's a good idea or not. But so yeah, so I'm going to do make some short hedgy ones for that, for the bends. Short hedgy ones for the bends. Short rail fences. Got some more of the longer ones for longer rail fences. So is that, I don't know if that's a good idea or not, but that's the plan anyway. So rail fences, some short hedges, and that gate. And the last thing is, I got this stuff. It's weird kind of foldy, plasticky stuff. I don't know. And I have picked it up. I had it ages ago. I don't know where I got it from. I've been carrying it around for ages, and the basic plan was always to do something with it. And that something is going to be, I'm just going to paint it yellow and treat it as fields. So very, very what's the word? Amateur, very amateur, very low tech terrain. But that's the plan for that. So finish off my picket fence. A whole bunch of short and long rail fencing, and some short lengths of hedgy fencing for bends. So I don't know. That's the plan. Just a quick example of rail fences in Poland. You can see them running along around those houses and down there as well. So it's, at least on these photos, it seems like it's something that went round houses rather than general in the road and field boundaries and such. So first stage, got that last little bit of Renedra picket fence, and glued on some lichen on the shorter bases for bends. I don't know if that's going to work very well. And then the other thing is, it turned into a bit, I don't know if it's me, it probably is me, or if it's just being a bit of a nightmare. But yeah, this stuff, these bamboo, whatever they are, skewers or whatever, you think they'd be good for this, and they probably are just being whatever. But yeah, gluing them together was a bit of a pain, to be honest. I mean, it's partly, or maybe partly to do with, I used super glue at first, and everything got stuck to it. Everything got stuck to everything, and it was a total nightmare. And it just trying to chisel them off the workbench afterwards, because they were stuck down with super glue. So yeah, so I advise not to use super glue unless you're a lot less cack-handed than me. But I thought, bamboo, technically wood, so they should work with PVA. So I don't know, I started using PVA afterwards, and I don't know if they work or not. I'm a bit tentative with them because I don't know how well it's going to last. Also, yeah, I glued them down, glued in quotation marks with filler. I just waxed some filler down and popped them on top. So I don't know how well they're going to last, but that's the current version, and the prime version. So yeah, so I've got to prime this for this one, and add the other two, and then see how well they last, and then some longer ones for the longer bases. Dunk da dunk. So will they last? Will they stand up? Will they fall apart? Who knows? Tune in next week for the thrilling instalment of this rather amateurish job. So, quick thought. Picket fence and these bamboo rail fences. So, I don't know, what do I think? I haven't seen people using this bamboo stuff on all the various crafting videos that I've watched, and I suppose there's probably a good reason. So what I did, I used super glue to join the wood at first, but it kind of got stuck everywhere, so that was a bit negative. And then I started using PVA, but I was worried about it being too feeble for PVA. So I stuck it initially with PVA, and afterwards I kind of drenched it in super glue for added strength. And the second big change, the first one I just used filler. You can see the filler on the base there. I put 4 dumps of filler down and stuck the bamboo stuff into the filler. And then on the second batch, I super glued it onto the base first, and then added the filler afterwards. Because I was worried it was going to be too flimsy. So I don't know. I mean, they look okay. I mean, they're not finished. That's their first coat on the for the rails, and I've got to do the bases. But what's my opinion? Because I haven't seen other people using this bamboo stuff, these skewers or cocktail sticks, and I assume there's a reason. I mean, it's very hard, the bamboo. So for cutting and stuff, it's a major pain in the ass, basically. So I can see why people don't use it that much. Especially something like this is it'd be a lot better if you cut little grooves into the two pieces so they kind of slot together. No, I didn't do that. I didn't do that because it's too hard. I mean, it's probably possible with the right tools, but I don't have the right tools for whatever it would take. So I don't know. I mean, it's definitely a pain. I mean, it really is. I mean, I'm sure. Well, I'm not sure, but I wouldn't be surprised if things like balsa wood or other kind of more usual kind of modelling wood is better. That might be why people don't use the bamboo, because it's just it's hard is wrong. I don't know if that's the right word or not. I suppose it is. It doesn't cut that easily, and so that's a thing. But and given 6 months' time, I may have a different view. But at the moment, it seems pretty good. As I say, it's not good while you're doing it. It's a pain in the ass while you're doing it. But I quite like what I've done. At the end, it's not finished. Obviously, I've got the bases, but it's as a thing, I'm quite liking it. But I say I wouldn't recommend balsa really, not balsa, bamboo. But even though I quite like it now, I didn't enjoy the process at all. But the end result, not bad, not bad. Now you've got to do the bases now. So, a bit of flock on. I say my final thought on using these bamboo sticks, whether the skewers or something else, is I do quite like the end result. Lots of flock to be knocked off. Yeah, I do like the end result, and I think it's it looks closer to what I've seen in Poland. Not necessarily 100%, but it's closer than hedges and stone walls. I'm sure that there are hedges and stone walls somewhere in Poland, but I wanted something something a bit less as well. So I don't know. I mean, I'm going to add various tufts and things to these as well, and give it another coat of paint. But I'm actually quite pleased with these as the final result. So it's not ideal. So I don't want to necessarily recommend this bamboo stuff, but it can be done, and the end result is quite nice. I think quite like it. So I don't know if that's a recommendation or not. I've also got a load of cocktail sticks, bamboo, which are thinner than the skewers. The skewers are that thick, and the cocktail sticks, substantially thinner. So is that good or not? I don't know. But I was going to do some more. I've still got another load of bases, and these cocktail sticks are conveniently very close to the right width. Just need to cut off the little spiky bits at the end, and I'm going to try doing the same thing with these cocktail sticks instead. So a bit thinner. I don't know if that will look better or not. But so I've got the bases, so I'm going to use them up. I've got about 4 each. So I'll do a couple of bases, a couple more using the thin ones, and the other thing I got, because I saw someone doing this, is some dead twigs from the garden. Oops, wrong. So I might do a couple of those as well, just for variety. Okie doke. So these are the same thing, but using the bamboo cocktail sticks, like that. You get 150 for a small amount of money, and again the same thing. You just cut the sharp ends off. You get about roughly 64mm. That's for two, and then the third one you cut into small strips for the stakes. Paint it, wax and flock on. I'm very undecided about this whole bamboo stuff because it was a real pain originally, but once you get used to it, it's not so bad. But I don't know. I'll have to get some of the other woods just to double check. Another thing, see a couple of little logs or log bases, and they're either for you can have them in woods or whatever. You can have them on the road or whatever as well. But I did them for blockades, really. Or blockades, was the right word? Barricades, like on the road or whatever. So some engineers cut a tree down. So I say it's very minor, this whole thing, but it's just the stuff with the bamboo. It's giving me, because it kind of looks so useful. When I originally got the bamboo, when I was doing ancients, I was going to do it for kind of castle walls. Well, not castle walls, but you know, like a Roman marching camp or a barbarian camp. Because they're very close to 12 inches. And if you can, I'm trying to waggle them together. Yes, they're close to 12 inches. And you've got three of them. You cut them off into 4-inch strips, for example. And you put three of them together like that, at roughly 4 inches. Then you get what could be quite a good little rampart, like that. And then you know, it's 12 inches, so you get three like that out of three, and then you can stick them together to make some kind of wall. And there's less detailed, but similar idea with the cocktail sticks. You know, you can make yourself some kind of spiky wall with those. That was the original idea, but then I gave up on ancients for whatever reason. So they've been left there, and I've been wanting to do something with them. And the only reason I did those fences is because looking at all those pictures of Polish terrain. So the thing is, it's like I kind of like them. I suppose it comes to the whole point of terrain, really, or making terrain, because there's two levels. There's well, not two levels. There's a scale, and it starts off at one end. It's abstraction, pure abstraction, to kind of pretend terrain, really. It's like having big books as your hills. It's no big deal. It doesn't matter. Especially if it's just you. You can imagine it yourself. That it's hills or trees or whatever. And at the other end of the scale, there's this kind of like hyper aesthetic and hyper realistic stuff that you see on a lot of the YouTube channels, and which is quite enticing. Wanting to make stuff like that. And then the third point, of course, is storage. Because I haven't got a lot of storage space for terrain here. Partly because I've got all these boxes full of ancients and Napoleonic stuff that I gave up on. So, but as I said, and I'm sort of in the middle. In that I was mostly doing it for for aesthetic reasons and realistic reasons, but not trying to get not aiming for the top level, just like halfway between abstraction and aesthetics. And about the third aspect is enjoyment. Do you enjoy doing it? And sometimes I do. When I'm doing this stuff, it can be quite fun. But this wasn't particularly, mainly for reasons that are possibly fixable. So it wasn't very enjoyable, but I do really like the end result. You know, it's especially for the Polish thing, because I say a lot of the photos I saw, they didn't really have. They didn't have much, you know, hedges. I didn't call hedges and walls originally. And I say I assume there's hedges and walls somewhere in Poland, but the photos I saw didn't have a lot of it, and they did have some kind of you know, plain fencing like this. So that's the reason I did it, and I sort of I wasn't enjoying it, but you know, I'm pleased with the result. And then on the second, as I got doing it more, it got easier, and the pain of it was less. It's still a little bit, but it's getting to the point of being doable. So what's my point? I don't know. It's I don't, well, especially I don't know if I'm going to would recommend using this bamboo stuff. That's basically it. Because I don't want anyone to think that these are tutorials, because I don't know what I'm doing. It's all random and guesswork and stuff. But you know, these things are quite good for stuff like this. You know, like rail fencing. And I don't know how much they cost, but you know, 150 cocktail sticks for probably a couple of quid. And for doing walls like this, it's perfect. And there's probably lots of other things you could do with them as well. You know, like supports for card buildings and stuff. You know, you can probably make bridges out of it. I think the sky's the limit really. But is it as good as this standard stuff? You know, foam and balsa and stuff. I don't think so. So I don't know. I'm in two minds. Because I like the result, I'm in two minds now about not liking the making of it. So I don't know what that's all about. It's just me rambling. The other thing I sort of did. These were supposed to be short bits for bends in longer walls and roads and stuff, but it's probably a bit too big, to be honest. So it doesn't quite work. I probably need to get some small ones at some point, but it's not the end of the world. So the original thing for this was just to do this one piece of for the picket fence, and that worked. And I like these barricadey bits. That's good. So that's true. I think I got 14 of the small bases. So that was 3. That was 3. That was good. And in retrospect, I really like the end result, even though I didn't enjoy the making of them. So that's why it's 50-50. That's why it's 50-50. 50-50. Yeah. So say, I can't. Yeah, I suppose I can't recommend using this bamboo stuff. There may be better ways of doing it that kind of deal with all the problems. But at the same time, even though I can't recommend it, it's the end result is pretty good in my opinion. What do you trying to find? I think I'll do it. So yeah, so in terms of all the stuff that I did, I'm rambling on now because I'm undecided. All the stuff that I did. So 4 long ones, 4 short ones of those, another 4 short ones, thinner. 2 barricades ones, and the 4 hedgy ones. And lastly, one thing that was originally the plan, 1 picket fence, short picket fence. I've still got 4 more long bases, and undecided whether I should do some more of those picket fences, more for those rails, or not. I think I've got it down to the point where it's relatively easy now, because the things I did originally, I've stopped doing that. So now what I do is I cut the rails out, and glue them together with PVC glue, PVA glue. And yeah, it's a pain in the arse. I mean, it really is, because they roll around and they're quite hard, so it's difficult to cut a groove for the side poles. And so that's a bit of a pain. But then once they're fairly solid, then glue them on the base, super glue. And then once they're standing up on the base, I dribble some more super glue down the joints as well to strengthen the PVA. And I do some filler around the to add another bit of support around the base, around the legs where it joins onto the base. Then paint the brown, and then glue and flock. So it's a little bit involved, and I don't really enjoy making them, which is a negative for me, because not the whole point of this, but half the point of this was doing stuff that I found fun. But you know, it's not fun, but it's not fun, if you know what I mean. So it's close enough, and they look nice at the end. And you know, I don't need millions of it. That's was it 5, 8, 16, 32 inches, and 12. So that's like 48 inches, I think. And if I do these ones as well, that's more like 6 inches. So that should be plenty. So I don't need to do it anymore once I've done it one last time. So yeah, so I'm rambling because I say I can't heartily recommend using this bamboo stuff, but I can recommend it a bit in terms of if you've got something specific that you want to do. I think they're quite good, or rather, not good so much as bearable if you're it's not a nightmare. And the last thing, this very rambly, I don't know how you can see this. So I had this stuff that was white foam of some kind, which has been hanging around forever. Yeah, just that. And so I got this up and just painted it some yellow acrylic. And it's it's, I don't know what you could call it, because it's kind of furry. I mean, that's not the right word, obviously, because it's some kind of fibre. But it's kind of furry, and so you can't paint it like flat. You know, you don't get the colour over the whole thing. It's all splodgy, but that's okay. And they're about 14 by 8 inches. So I cut them in half, had 4, and then they're now 7 inches by 8. I don't know, but they're going to they're going to be my fields basically. So it's I don't know if the count is painted really. They looked more painted before because there's water in the paint in the gaps in between the yellow. So I don't know what I'll do that, but I've got them. They're going to be my fields. So I've seen better ways of doing fields in online, and I've seen fields that you can buy. But the main reason for this is that I kept these for years when planning to do something with them, and now I finally am. So it's a box ticks basically. So no, I think so. It's a bit of a funny one, this one, because I'm glad I did it, but I'm also glad it's over. Whereas with some of the earlier ones, I enjoyed it throughout the process. But anyway, what else to say? Hills, buildings, and trees. But that's enough for now. Okay, to a bit.